Hi everyone, it's Tim from PC Gamer. I'm here with Tom, section editor. We thought we'd talk about the section that Tom kind of looks after the most, really, which is Extra Life. Extra Life's a funny section for us because it hasn't always been part of PC Gamer. We introduced it about 7 years ago, something like that, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, about the time I joined.
Yeah, when Mark Donald was editor, and it's kind of had this kind of life its own, really, and become something that we absolutely adore. It's really special and kind of the thing I feel kind of most passionate about the magazine.
Best
really.
section of the mag.
Best section of the mag. So Extra Life was meant to be, if you think about the structure of a traditional magazine, it's news, previews, reviews, and kind of nothing after that. But Extra Life was meant to, but that's the point when you guys get to play games. And we wanted to try and find something in a way of reflecting what you're doing and what we're doing and talking about it. So the original version of it was mostly just about downloads and mods and stuff, but it was quite cool. But now it's more about kind of what we're doing and kind of dicking around with in games.
Yeah, it's kind of about capturing the experience of actually playing games. So it sometimes feels like when you read a mag that they're just journalists and they go out and see games and get exclusive access and stuff and then write about it before they release and then they just stop playing and move on to something else. In fact, we're just gamers like everyone else and we play games obsessively and we do crazy things in them and we want to talk about that.
So the intro to the section is Now Playing, which is exactly that. It's just 4 or 5 stories about the games that we've been playing this month. We're expanding it to an extra spread because it's consistently the funniest stuff in the mag, so it's 6 pages of about 9 stories. This month is, I think the best thing in there is a chap called Duncan Gear, who works for Wired, is doing a bit of freelance for us. He's talking about a game called Universal Sandbox, which is a game, I don't know if you really call it a game, but it's just a thing on Steam where you can create a universe, put planets in it, move them around and just see how it all interacts.
So it's doing stuff like putting a bowling ball in space and then putting a tennis ball next to it and seeing that actually orbits due to gravitational pull, like gravitational pull works on that kind of scale. So it's simulating ridiculous things like that. I think he ties like Mercury to the sun or something.
Yeah. So it gives us like that kind of opportunity to explore what we're never going to do. 6 pages of, I'd love to do 6 pages, frankly, but in terms of the commercial demands of the magazine, it's hard for us to find a bunch of space to talk about Universal Sandbox. But if we go and put in 6 pages of stuff where we're playing, we can just write fun stuff about it. The other thing that we're kind of adding to Extra Life is we're doing a kind of battle report now each issue. So the point with that is that esports is kind of ridiculously growing, really exciting. We all watch matches all the time, so it's just a case of we should be talking about this stuff.
We used to cover esports way back in the day, but we did it in a very kind of like sort of detached, newsy fashion. It was just, oh, here's who won this tournament, here's what happened in this place, and that was it. And it never really resonated with our readers. We didn't get a lot of particularly good feedback, so we stopped doing it. But these days with StarCraft 2 being such a huge deal, and League of Legends is also huge, Dota 2 is coming, and these games are actually getting really fun to watch, and the commentary is really good, and they're actually exciting. We're all watching them all the time anyway. And so Battle Report is a way for us to talk about a specific game. We just pick one game, an issue, and say, this is the coolest thing we saw this month, and here's exactly what happened blow by blow, why it was exciting, and who was playing, and that kind of stuff.
I think the thing is that like some of the best journalism in the world is sports journalism, but in gaming, esports journalism just doesn't feel like it's going to reach that level unless someone thinks really hard about it. It's mostly just reported rather than just like straight facts, rather than kind of getting the spirit of it. And one of the things I'd love us to do is find a way to get those kind of that brilliant style and spirit and love for the thing, display that passion, and do that every month in a magazine about PC games because it seems important. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's reinstall as well, which is going. I mean, we've always done. We did when we introduced Extra Life. We did long plays. They're called reinstall now in the new mag. It's going back to an old game, talking about it a bit.
It's familiar games, fresh perspectives, I think.
Familiar games, fresh perspectives. That's how we did it.
It's like if you're going to talk about Half-Life, you can't just have an article that says Half-Life is really good. You have to say, here's the thing no one appreciates about Half-Life, or here's the thing that made it great.
When we're asking new writers to look at it, the one I always reference is a guy called Ben Schroeder, who used to work for Edge, did a great thing on Quake that just completely changed the way I thought about Quake. And like everyone talks about Quake in the kind of deathmatch thing, about it being the father of deathmatch and that kind of big internet boom. But really, Ben was obsessed with the kind of gothic towers and the single
there's a weird fusion of like cyberpunk stuff with ancient architecture and weird fantasy monsters.
The way he span it was about, you have John Romero, who's kind of obsessed with this kind of punkiness, and Carmack is just obsessed with the tech, and his theory is that they were arguing all the time, and Romero's just about to leave the company, and you can see like that argument taking place in the game, which is just really kind of a fun thing to read. Probably not true, but really exciting to read.
Absolutely true. There's
so
also making of,
which is a new thing as well. We love talking to developers. We love speaking to them, but we usually speak to them on the things they're doing. But the best stories are the things that they've done. So 4 pages every issue. The first one is Making of Shogun Total War. We've got some. The next one for the following issue is already commissioned. That's about Ultima. And then we've got some Football Manager stuff coming up. We'd love to know what you think you want to know about, really. Can you tell us which games we should do making ofs?
Yeah.
All right. Hope that keeps you entertained. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
Cheers.